For over 30 years, C-SPAN has been a direct link to public affairs, politics, history, and nonfiction books, all gavel to gavel and all without commentary or commercials. Now C-SPAN is available in over 100 million homes across the nation, bringing you Washington your way. C-SPAN is provided as a public service by America's cable television companies.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Trailer Park Bros Play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the... Look at how cute that sky is, dude.
Damn, might need to snap a quick
Look at that.
flick on that one, dude.
Oh,
might need
shit.
to send this one to the gram right here, dog.
Oh, boom. Yo, that's fucking dope.
That's actually aesthetic.
That's great.
Them birds
Yeah, that's actually
right
great.
there where they needed to be. Height.
Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. Welcome back to the gram, everyone. My name is Jay the Zoomster, and today we are back in Breath of the Wild.
And I'm
We're
Instagram
gonna Mobamba
influencer.
on this hoe.
Ooh. Oh. Well, you were gonna
I didn't go
Mobamba on his own. But unfortunately, he did
This
not
is the
like
youngest kin of the Hinox brothers, and basically the Hinox brothers are simping for each other, but they don't know it yet. None of them know that they're simping for each other, and so you kind of just gotta kill them
it. Yeah,
and show them who's boss, and then take their little jewels.
like a Chad.
But don't forget to collect. So this is kind of gross because this is like their undigested food that you're picking up.
Ew.
So like it's actually kind of disgusting when you think about it that
Well,
way.
think about it like, say, you know, your teacher, right? She'd be kind of fat, she's kind of obese, and then she'd be eating like some really good cupcakes, like some out of this world cupcakes, your favorite flavor, not too much icing, the perfect balance, and she just keeps getting larger and larger, and finally she explodes, right? Just all over the classroom, guts and everything. But let's say the cupcakes survived. Now, if you were hungry, right, and you really do like those cupcakes,
Yeah.
I'd say 5-second rule, wipe that shit off and just go ahead and eat them anyway. You know?
You got a point.
Because what's
You
the
got a
teacher gonna do? She dead.
Yeah, she dead. She's not gonna do anything.
Right. It's like when you be eating your Crunch Bar and fat kid be like, you gonna finish that? You gonna finish that?
Finish your Crunch Bar.
We're gonna finish that right now, you know? If she not...
You know, you're making some points. I think you've absolutely changed my entire, like, opinion on the matter. I think that 100% you should eat other people's undigested food.
I mean, the CDC probably don't rep my point, but you know what? What do they know?
What do they know? Nothing. They know jack shit.
Take all your medical and health advice from
Oop.
Aden of Blue Couch Productions. That's what we're on right now. Oh, okay.
Yo, we had a major frame rate dip. I don't know if you saw
kid.
that.
Guess the Hinox is too epic for you. He didn't like none of
Guess
that.
so.
Is he following you still?
Look at that
He
motherfucker.
is.
Look at that motherfucker.
He gonna chase you all the way up the hill.
He picking up the tree. He pick up the tree.
You think he can throw it from
What
there?
you gonna do? What he gonna do? Bro, he gonna follow me, bro. Bro, he following me.
Hey, give me back my orb, bro.
He following me.
Why'd you steal it?
He say, give me my ball back, bro. Give me my fucking ball back.
Yeah.
Bro, it ain't funny. Give me my ball back. Is he fall? He's still fucking doing it, bro.
Oh,
Ah! Where'd
damn.
you guys come from?
Hello, friends.
He said, give me my fucking ball back, Jay Zoomster.
You gonna tell
Jay
mom
Zoomster,
on
give me my
you.
ball back.
You went back to go tell mom, and now he's gonna...
Mom, Jay Zoomster took my ball away. I'm told to give it back.
Oh, Mom, it's my turn on the ball. You said. Like, Jay, I don't remember telling you that. Well, you said earlier, that, yeah, like an hour ago. That don't mean you can take his ball. It's like, well, he said I can have it.
Oh, this is the wrong spot. This is the other homie. Oops.
You know, better go ahead and wake him up, too. Just to be safe.
I absolutely disagree with that concept. I think that
Oh,
is
you're
the
gonna
worst
you're gonna be
thing.
okay with digesting undigested food. That's fine. But waking up other homie Hinox, it's like, no, that's where I draw the line.
Well, like, other homie Inox could potentially fuck me up when I did a pretty good sneaky weaky job to get this ball away from that dude.
This is true.
Speaking of, I deserve props in the comments for that because I've been on top of my shit lately in this game.
Jay
for
overconfident.
no reason.
He tweaking. He was like, dude, I thought that darkness shrine was going to take like an hour at least, and we just king shitted that the whole way through. And I'm like, wow, Jay, weird flex, but okay. I mean, you do you.
Are you saying that we didn't king shit it?
It was very epic. I myself was worried, you know.
Yeah.
But like many things in this series, what we're worried about turns out is not actually
ball
something to worry about. Because we almost always make it out to seem a lot worse than it actually is. It's kind of the moral of the series, actually, in a nutshell.
It's kind of wild too how this keeps fucking happening.
I'm telling you, we're gonna get to the camel and the divine beast, Rito, and then it's just gonna be all downhill, and that's fine because you know what? We're ahead of the curve. We're ahead on the episodes. I'm totally cool with that being the case. But until that happens, we'll just get a lot of side shit done and kill it with this Hinox quest and other such things.
So I'm trying to remember where the rest. There they are. Okay, I remember they were over here.
Jay forgetting shit.
Okay.
It's
Jay is forgetting.
The dementia kicking in early, as I say.
Yeah, I'm Joe Biden's relative.
Who? Exactly.
Our president, our Democratic nominee, Aden. Who else?
Yeah. Sure is. Again, y'all were waiting for politics, and we kind of briefly hinted at it, but now for real, it's going to be the actual politics episode. I did that to Parker one time on Stardew.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, all right, Parker, I think it's time we talk about the hard-hitting issues. And so I just went with, like, major, like, American issues. And I went one by one, and I just asked him.
Really?
Yeah, and he just gave me responses. So, like, I was like, what are your thoughts on abortion, Parker? And Parker, like, I don't really like kids, so, you know, less of them fuckers around.
Is that what this Breath of the Wild episode's gonna be?
Yeah, that could be. Parker, I asked Parker about, like, class wars, gun rights, abortion, race issues, the whole 9 yards.
So this is the political episode of Breath of the Wild. That's what you're saying.
He tried to pan it around and turn it into something funny each time, but you know, you got to wonder if the man wasn't also scared for his life.
Yeah, let's do this. Go ahead. Ask me some questions.
You want some questions?
Yeah.
I gotta be sure not to ask you the same questions though. So that's the
for sure.
That's the tough part. Okay, so Jay, what is your opinion on the nicotine epidemic sweeping through not only America but young people as well?
So like, I think that mainly comes down to the like the fact that like the juuling culture, I guess, if I would say, the culture surrounding the act of juuling,
right?
It's kind of become like a peer pressure thing.
That's how smoking kind of like got kicked off the ground.
And I think that the worst part is, and what makes juuling such a bigger like kind of epidemic is because it's like lauded as a safer form than smoking, right? People consider it to be safer. And like, sure, technically it might be safer, and even recent things are saying it's not, right?
Oh yeah, wasn't there a whole thing about like the first dude with lung cancer just from Juul or whatever?
Yeah, like it's still not that safe. So like, and I feel like again, that whole like peer pressure thing side of it is really damaging the youth.
Damn.
And I don't know, I guess it's like another thing. It's like, it's just scary for me to like go onto Instagram and see people who I've like gone to school with being like freaking out because they can't find their Juul pod. And like, I know it's funny to like meme on like, yo, where the fuck my Juul? But the fact that like there's young people, like really young people, actually genuinely searching for that shit. like scared because they needed to fucking take a hit of nicotine. It's just wild to me.
Well, what surprised me was like Parker would even talk about like some kids in his high school who be juuling, you know, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize it was that it's that young. But I guess that makes sense because I knew high schoolers who smoked, so like,
Yeah,
that adds up. But it's just wild to me that that's a thing. Dude, you gonna get
and like I said,
smashed on.
I think it's I think it's honestly worse and more dangerous than like smoking cigarettes, because it's just it's oh fuck. You got me talking about hot button political issues and I die, Aiden.
So my strategy all along was to make the gameplay suffer more. So, you know, it's working.
But yeah, I think that in general that it's more dangerous because juuling is always, and e-cigs are talked about as safer alternatives to smoking, when while they might be, again, not by much, but that might be the case. I think that at the end of the day, it's going to well, hey, mister, you came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is still not a good idea to juul, and it's dangerous, and the kind of, like, again, as dumb as it sounds, juul culture, I guess, is kind of an issue.
Well, I think it's pretty easy for anybody to say that it's annoying, at the very least. In the same way that, like, smokers can occasionally be annoying, right? But obviously with social media and stuff, it's crazy. I'd probably say, safe bet, nicotine's still nicotine. If you don't get started on any of it, you'll be fine at any point. It's just like, I think even for me, more than anything, it's a financial commitment that I just do not have the spare cash for.
Absolutely.
And drugs are an interesting thing. Like, I don't recommend anybody do nothing. I've never done anything. I'm pretty soft in general, but it's like, if you're gonna do something, there's some better options, I feel like, than blowing a shitload of cash on Juul.
Yeah.
Take that
Like,
as you will.
I don't
Take
know.
that as you will. I'm not
I just
talk about weed, but you know, you get the idea.
So yeah, I don't have too much of like a stance on juuling, other than what I've said, and why I just feel like the nicotine addiction issue is definitely one that should be talked about, and one that is definitely an issue. And I feel like I don't know, I feel like too many of like the oh well, where's my Juul pod memes have kind of like looked down upon like the issue that it really does give, and like the issue that is around. But I don't know, maybe I'm like overthinking shit, but it is dangerous. Yeah,
we usually are. That's the thing. It's not like I came to get your political opinions from LHG. You know, maybe look elsewhere and maybe study it yourself. We're just kind of vibing. We're just talking about shit. I'm gonna move on to the next thing, and kind of moving from one technological.
Real quick
Oh yeah, go ahead. Check it. Say it.
It's related to the game. I find it funny that we left that dude alive, and then we killed his two brothers.
Right.
So I'm gonna leave him alive too. He's just gonna suffer. He's gonna mourn.
Just live without a family. That's even worse than death, honestly.
Anyway, continue.
Okay.
Continue.
So kind of moving from one technological thing to another. A lot of people these days, especially in cities and in big areas, use a lot of services like Uber and Uber Eats and Postmates and all these different convenience sort of services. But it seems in that rise to mass popularity, there do be homies abusing it at the same time. Of a lot of stories coming out about unsafe Uber drivers, you know, people harassing other people, potential kidnapping stuff, and some other sort of schemes like that. And just kind of two sides. You got the people who are like, well, the convenience is still important, and Uber and these companies will work it out. But on the other side, you have people who are kind of legitimately concerned that if it doesn't go policed, bad shit gonna start happening as Uber and services like it get pretty popular. And that's not even talking about what like Uber Eats and Postmates could do if a homie just poisoned your food, right? Like, it's possible. We haven't seen it yet, to be fair. This is still like kind of a new issue, but an issue nonetheless.
Absolutely.
So where are you on that shit when it comes to security for a lot of these sort of driving apps and such?
I think it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. It's definitely an interesting topic because I'm not sure where the fuck did I not put the other orb in? Oh, I guess I didn't.
No.
Where did that go? I think like policing definitely needs to be done. I guess it's difficult to police, right?
Right. Like you don't want to get the government
And
involved with
to
every Uber
figure out
ride.
what-
You know.
Oh, it's back on this homie, isn't it?
But it also might be the type of thing where it's like, you know, maybe not everybody should be allowed to sign up and become an Uber driver, you know?
I think there should definitely be like some background checks because it is ridiculously easy to become an Uber driver. That was an accident. I didn't mean to do that.
I've never done the process myself, but
Yeah, my dad drove for Uber for a little bit, and it was extremely easy for him. Basically, you just gotta own a car,
Oh, okay.
have car insurance,
Okay.
and sign up, and there you go.
Gotta be 18, probably.
Yeah, you gotta be 18, and then you sign up, and it's very easy. So I definitely think there should be more of a screening process, maybe a mental health test, a criminal background check, which they probably already do for sure, but like maybe a more in-depth one, and just some more shit like that. That would definitely help, I think.
Alright.
Where do you stand on it?
So, like, I've never used an Uber before. That kind of came around after the point where I already kind of started learning to drive and knew how to drive. But there was a time when I was so scared of driving that, like, had Uber been around at a young enough age for me, I might have just used that. But of course, I'm in a small town. I don't live in a bigger city at all. We don't really even get like Uber Eats or Postmate like in our area type shit. We're that small of a town. But at the same time, like, I think the convenience factor of it is cool. I think it's interesting that like more people are trusting like their 16-year-old daughters to hop in an Uber rather than them drive themselves and hurt themselves, right? Like, we're trusting strangers essentially. But with that obviously comes some major safety risks. But like, I feel like it's the type of thing you can figure out and kind of police a little bit better. And you know, I don't think we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Keep the system around, but just kind of be a little bit
for sure. Maybe like also take like responsibility, because there's a lot of like stories about like people complaining to like HR in these companies and nobody really doing anything,
right? Because like how
the issue,
how do you punish a lot of drivers like that? Oh, you take them off the app. I mean, oh, whatever, like I'll just go to another one and do it again, right? Like it's not really a whole lot of consequences if you do fuck up, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
People had issues with taxi drivers, but like now when everybody can be a taxi driver, you can imagine the type of issues that pop up.
Absolutely.
So.
And I want
Return of the King. Yay! The Thunderblade's
I need to get rid of something. Hold on.
Yeah, we're definitely keeping that shit.
Return of the King.
That Thunderblade was a fucking massive. We lost the great deity blade, the fierce deity blade. So now
yeah, we lost the fierce deity sword off screen. So now it's a good thing to have another big boy.
Broken weapon, equal exchange.
So yeah, basically, not to derail, but that was the Three Brothers Hinox quest.
Epic!
I talked about that back in episode 11 of the series, and we're finally doing it here. So that's epic.
And
anyway,
another heart.
We got another spirit orb, so we're gonna go get another heart while Aden continues to talk.
That was all I had to say on that one. That one I was pretty good with.
That was an interesting discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of all the ones I haven't done. We'll do a little bit of a more epic one. So it seems like a lot of politicians, a lot of boys are making a little bit more of a stake about climate change, right? A lot more people like, yo, Earth not gonna be around that much longer if we keep treating it like a side chick. We kind of need to upgrade to main chick status.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people don't want to do that for either reason or another. Whether the reasoning is based on science or the reasoning is based off a tabloid or something you read on the internet. Seems like for something as simple as you would think climate change would be, there seems to be like a dime or a dozen opinions on it. And I guess I probably already know your opinion on where you stand on that, but why do you think so many people go the other way, I guess, for whatever stance you take?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So first off, climate change fake as fuck.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yes. Yes.
The hoax created by the liberal agenda to distract you.
Yeah.
No. I think fear is a big reason why a lot of people kind of go into that it's not real or it's not an issue kind of side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the realistic probability that in a couple of years Earth is beyond saving is scary. The thought of that is, even if you're not going to be around for you know when the Earth isn't around anymore, right?
Right.
It's still scary to imagine the fact that the status quo that's existed for thousands and thousands and millions of years one day just ain't going to exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you keep treating the world like garbage. I also think just it's interesting because I do think fear is the main reason, but of course there's definitely more than that, right? There's, you know, just
There's a bit of
case
there's a bit of a financial too, where like a lot of people
yeah.
don't see that great of a need to address climate change in any more of a in any more serious of a way than like just go recycle. Like people don't want to spend money on windmills and water power and all this other shit because guess what? It's expensive. Electric cars are expensive. You know, taking the time out of your day to recycle is a pain in the ass. You know, like
Absolutely.
I go through like 30 water bottles a day, not because I want the planet to burn, but because my ass too lazy to like actually like put it in a plastic recycling bin. Because you know, like recycling day is a different day than trash day, and I gotta put it in a special bag, and I gotta hope that the truck comes to get it. And what, like if I don't get it, I gotta go to the dump. That's too much work. So I feel like there's a bit of a not only financial but just a laziness thing, where it's like
yeah, for sure. And that was gonna be like my next point. Is I feel like people are just too lazy.
yeah.
And I feed into that too, absolutely.
I'm awful at it.
And I'm not even gonna try and act like a holier than thou person.
I'm not Captain
I'm
Planet.
lazy.
I'm not Captain Planet.
But I definitely think another bit is entitlement, because you know they keep talking about how you can do a little bit of things better, and I'm not gonna say fuck rich people, but fuck rich people, like people who just like I guess like the 1% in like private jets and shit, and it's already been talked about, but they do abuse that shit, the shit that's polluting a lot of things,
Right.
and it's just kind of frustrating to see them not give a fuck about the planet. And then and of course there's people who are like, well, that's like their only way to get around. Like, no the fuck it ain't. I'm pretty sure they could find a way to do it without riding their private jet places.
If Dad Elon taught us anything, getting a Tesla.
Absolutely.
even
Absolutely.
even electric cars aren't gonna fix issues like that. It's a very much like long term.
No, yeah.
Long term.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's definitely a frightening prospect to me personally, the idea of the world being like too far gone to save. But hopefully some people figure it out. I also just think that like there's kind of a disconnect for me personally between like, oh, those fuckers just keep loading the fuck in. There's kind of a disconnect for me to where I don't understand how basic science became a political issue.
Well, everything does, right? Like,
yeah, I guess it's just like I don't quite get how, oh yeah, the planet's burning and it's gonna be dead one day and we're causing it, right? I guess I don't really understand how that turned into a left or a right issue.
well, a lot of people, I don't think wouldn't doubt that like the Earth be getting hotter. I think what a lot of people fight over is the idea that it was either man-made or it's just Earth doing wacky shit. You know, there are a lot of people who think, oh, it's the Earth and that's why it's hot. But a lot of the data will say that, yeah, the Earth's getting hotter and like it probably is a man-made reason of why it's getting hotter. But like that part's a little bit, I think, harder to prove that it's specifically our fault. But I think it is.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
It absolutely is in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like I guess yeah, that does make sense, the kind of like confusion there. I've always thought it was weird when I hear it brought up in debates that like, why is this a political matter?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I feel that way about a lot of things. I feel that way about a lot of things. Like, why is, honestly, like, truth be told, like, abortion is how I feel about, like, why is this a political thing? When there's, like, certain things that I just don't feel like need to be. And, of course, again, like you said, everything kind of ties back to politics.
It's usually either, like, a time issue, a money issue, and in abortion's case, when it gets really tricky, is, like, a religious issue. Of, like... It's a matter of faith, and trying to argue with a matter of faith isn't going to get anybody convinced one way or the other.
Religion also kind of something that I think there's a weird connection to politics in there, especially on the right side. And again, I don't want to get too far into that.
Sure.
But like that's been wild to me to like look at, because I think that should be completely separate. I believe in the separation of church and state. Because if we're going to have a country that's free to practice any religion you want in, you don't want your world leader to be making decisions based on his or her faith, is how I view it.
Well, it's like, it's a thing where like a lot of religions like make a big deal about your like closeness to the faith and abiding by specific rules, and if said rules are broken, you're going to hell for eternity type of shit. Where it's like, you know what? Yeah, if I do pass a bill for that and then the Bible says that's not good, I might be going to hell forever. Which is a lot scarier than any backlash I might face in a political spectrum. But at the same time, like, it's going to be a thing when things get a lot more diverse and we have a lot more people involved. It's going to be the same thing, not only for Christianity, but like what happens when you get a bunch of people from all sorts of different faiths? Can we put aside those things, or is every little issue potentially going to have some sort of religious motivation behind it? And it's tough to say. I think people who are religious should be allowed to be in politics and should have certain decisions be governed by that, but it's a tricky situation when it impacts other people, right? When it's not just you getting impacted by it.
Absolutely.
Because you are making decisions for a large crowd of people on your behalf, and that can get sketchy.
Yeah, it's kind of going back to the thing with abortion, where like I get that from like a religious level, and honestly going to like gay marriage and shit like that, and like rights for trans people. Like I get that, and I get that like it's kind of scary as a religious person if that's going to be your thing. And I don't want to like shit on religion. I'm not here to do that. But like
absolutely not.
I feel like when it comes down to like you being a religious person, or hey, maybe allowing this person that's a little bit different to fucking live their life, there needs to be a change in how you look at the situation.
Right. And I think we are gradually over time starting to see a little bit more of that, but it's always baffling how like humanity can take certain things that should feel and seem obvious and spend thousands of years debating whether or not like is slavery a good thing? Let me think on it for 400 500 years. Is letting people marry a good thing? I don't know. Let me think about it for like a millennia. Right?
Exactly.
And that might be the thing with climate, where it's like, yeah, it's going to take a stupid long time for us to really get our shit together. Time that we might not even have. But I do think eventually that there will be, whether it's through a scientific study or somebody who's just like a really good speaker or convincer that's like, hey guys, what if not Earth bad? You know?
Yeah.
But we take an extremely long time to make progress, and so I think it's very politics can seem like a very shitty thing of like, God, why does it take this long? Why is humanity shitty like this? And it's a little bit comforting to know that we've always been that shitty, you know, and that eventually we'll get it right. Eventually.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. It's just, and again, I don't want to get too deep into the religion and politics issue.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something that I think needs to be talked about and looked into in a certain way.
Yeah.
if you're wondering what's happening here,
Yeah.
anarchy.
This do be looking like an anarchy type beat. I think you got rid of most of them. There's only one left.
I'd love to continue the discussion after I fucked that up. Okay.
They're dead.
So.
Awesome.
Now.
Awesome.
We can continue.
Awesome.
Up the tower.
Yay.
No, that was a good discussion. I agree. I pretty much agree with you. You haven't said anything that I think is
Oh no, and I think
unepic.
me and you kind of align a lot more politically. I think a lot of people our age kind of lean a certain way, more or less, and like I even talked to my dad, and he was the same way when he was our age, and he changed too, and like thought different things, and I'm totally cool with the discussion, whichever side you stand on. I guess what I'm trying to really get across with all these things is when I brought up politics in the Stardew thing, it was just more of a funny haha like gag, and this one kind of turned into a bit of a serious thing. I guess what I'll just say to you all, like whether you agree with us or not, just know that like all of this stuff is very complicated, and like neither me or Jay really don't have an authority on any of these fucking
Absolutely not.
subjects or not. And if you disagree with us, that's totally fine. But just know like this shit is complicated. It can be very negative a lot of the time, and it can feel like we're not really making any sort of progress at all. But just know there's like nobody's really an evil person when it comes to this shit. Like people are legitimately trying to do their best, and there's always two sides to every story. So even though it feels like people on the other side may seem like these fucking villains and people who just hate the earth and gay people and trans people and everybody, they're legitimately trying. I think most of them are to like build a better country and build a better world, and you could see that in things like human rights advancements in the UN and like us not nuking each other. That was a pretty big win for humanity, I think. And that took a lot of really smart people, but like it'll take time. That's the main thing.
Definitely, yeah. I just, and I also want to say, like, of course, and Aiden kind of said this, we don't think if you have a different opinion that you're evil or a bad person. I definitely don't think that anybody on the opposite side of the spectrum, in terms of my opinions, is a bad person. And I think that's kind of something that a lot of people need to get a grip on, because the whole like two parties thing has just split people like in half when it comes to like how they feel about certain things, and like, oh, this person doesn't support gay marriage, they must be a terrible bigot and an awful person. And like
some people are,
maybe some people are, definitely, absolutely. So that's just kind of the thing, and that's something I've seen like online and in person, is that I think it's too divided and too angry, and everyone's too quick to call the other person an awful human being and attack them and insult them.
And I think Twitter has definitely had a big part in really making
absolutely
controversial statements and hot takes and shit like that, especially in the field of politics, almost completely toxic, to the point where it's even more divisive than it already is. But like, just know there's not anybody like fucking like a superhero villain who's like playing in these things and are going, a lot of people do act on good intentions,
Yeah, most people.
Most people. There are a lot of exceptions, but most people are not trying to ruin your life. I promise you.
And so that's basically what I was just trying to get across, is that the division is vitriolic, and it's gotten to a point where something like politics, which like in the past was like discussed by a lot of people just in casual discussion, but now becomes this sort of don't do it kind of thing, right?
An echo chamber.
The fact, and the fact that like certain people decide to stay out of politics for the fear of getting backlash, I don't know. I just feel like that's disheartening, because this is something that impacts everyone.
Right.
So saying that you're staying out of it because you don't want to be attacked, and it makes sense, and that's the saddest part to me.
Fair. But everything's a lot more nuanced, I think, than we give it credit for.
Definitely.
So just know that like shit's complicated.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, I think we're done here.
We're done.
Yeah. We got a tower. We did a Hinox quest. I'm feeling pretty epic myself. Look at this rain. This is
me too.
Aesthetic as fuck. Good.
Next episode, we are going to go in that there direction.
Ooh.
Go ahead and get the next tower. And then very soon we'll be going to that big boy over there, that ominous flying motherfucker.
Ooh.
So that'll be exciting. I'm trying to get a good picture of it.
Oh, with the lightning too.
Yeah, I'm trying to wait for another lightning blast to go behind.
Gotta
it.
be quick. Come on. You almost have to like wait for him to be behind it. I don't know if it's coming, Jay.
Yeah, it might not come. All right.
Oh, well.
Thank you for watching the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the political episode of Breath of the Wild.
We won't be doing more of them. This was just a
No, this is
one-time
it.
thing. So not to worry.
This is it.
If you hated it,
Not sorry. This isn't gonna be a new political episode. This is a skippable episode. So if you like,
hate us. That's fine.
if you hate us, that's fine. It's just an interesting and fun time. I had fun discussing it.
I did too.
I don't have an issue with it. So, thank you all, and we'll see you in the next episode of Breath of the Wild.
Peace.
Obunga.